Hello everybody, John Costino checking in on time, 8 o'clock here on Wednesday night. We're going to wait just a few minutes, as we always do, for folks to get here. It's now becoming a weekly thing, Wednesday nights. So maybe we'll get a regular pattern down. How are you, Buck? Hello there, Frank. Great to see you, my friend. And tonight is a follow-up to our video from last Wednesday night. For those of you that I have owed a phone call to, I apologize for the long delay in getting with you. It's been a very busy week, and I find myself doing a lot more of this type of work than just plain old business. Trent Edwards, how are you, sir? Doing good. Frank, I'm doing good, my friend. Thank you for asking. Hello, Miss Vanessa. We'll wait just another minute or two. I know most people are used to us getting started late, but the internet was good. The storm did not hit us today, so I have good internet. Hey, Miss Melanie. This also gives you all a chance to share this on your timeline. I recommend it. If you have been following the post and you understand what we're going to be talking about, again, this has nothing to do with business whatsoever. These are kind of public service announcements for the world. All right. Well, we'll get into it. Folks know that we're on here live. So tonight's call, as I said, or the Facebook Live video, is a follow-up to what we talked about last Wednesday. Last Wednesday was, how do I want to word this? Last Wednesday was created because I had been overwhelmed in a positive way. I don't want it to sound negative, with people out there that just have been struggling for various reasons. And it hit me really hard that the message was, hey John, it's not these 15, 17, 20 people. It's tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands that don't have a resource, don't have someone they feel either safe enough or trust enough to reach out to. So I did the video, and it created even more calls and more contacts. So what I want to do tonight is try to do more of a solution. We talked a lot about the challenges and the problem last Wednesday, so let's talk about the solution. And again, this is not me trying to sound like an expert. This is not me trying to solve the world's problems. This is me just sharing, because I have these conversations with so many people, and the conversation seems to resonate with them. So when that happens, I just figure, you know what, I might as well put it out on a video and see if it will reach a greater audience and can help more people. But what I believe, the biggest challenge that we all have, that we're all facing, that we face on a regular basis, is our programming. And if you followed the posts, the pictures, the little captions that I put up today, there's a lot of truth to them, and I'm not going to go through them. You can feel free to do that after the video's over. But the truth is, we really get some bad programming that we don't realize. It's very, very unconscious, subconscious programming that begins before we even talk. And I'll preface this by saying, I don't wish anyone pain with this conversation, but sometimes it is a painful realization. And what I mean by that is, I love my parents to death, but they programmed me, and they programmed me based on their programming that they got from their parents, my grandparents. They got programmed by their teachers. They got programmed by society in general back in the early days when they were growing up. And that's what formed my parents. They programmed me. with all of the information that they got, with all of the stimulation, with all of the experiences. And then society, my teachers, my peers, everybody associated with work, that's where we get our programming. So we all go through life thinking that we have thoughts, thinking that we're doing independent things, but we're really not. We're being programmed. And the reason I say that is we don't recognize it. It's not really something that we're conscious of. It happens accidentally. And I'm going to try to give you some examples of it. We look at this country and we're so divided by so many different things. And, you know, one of the posts I put up there was, you know, my race is the human race. And it's funny because growing up there was a TV show called Star Trek and has, I don't know, 7 different hybrids that were created as far as spin-offs of the original Star Trek. But it was funny because Star Trek was the United Earth. It wasn't a country, it was the United Earth. Now, we live on Earth. We're not united at all. Not only are we not united, we are consciously, purposely divided, and it creates terrible, terrible challenges for everybody. Now, what are some of the ways that we're divided and programmed? Well, you either have religion or you don't have religion. So that's the first division right there. You either have a religion or you have no religion. If you have religion, how many different religions are there that all say the same thing? We are the true religion. And I'm not beating on any of them. I'm just simply saying that look at how that programming is. And what I mean by that is if you were born into a Baptist family, into a Jewish family, into a Catholic family, what religion do you suppose you might be at age 10, 15, 20, 25? Chances are, I can't say this is guaranteed, but chances are, if you were born into a Catholic family, you didn't choose Judaism or become a Baptist at age 10 or 15 or 20 because it was still part of that family programming. If you were born into a family that was Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative, chances are, again, not guaranteed, but chances are, you're going to be that at age 10, 15, 20. Now, that doesn't mean you have to stay exactly the same, but chances are you most likely will. It's your programming. If your parents were very educated, professionals, chances are that as you were growing up, everything they did, everything they said, everything in your world was go to high school, get the best grades you can, go to college, get the best grades you can, go to graduate school, become a professional something. Doesn't make it right or wrong, just that's the programming. If your parents were blue-collar laborers, it could go either way. If they loved and enjoyed that, that's what they were going to teach you. If they hated that, they were going to push you in the other direction. But either way, it's programming. And the point I'm trying to make is we don't really have a chance. By the time we're 4, 5, 6 years old, and I see my good friend Eddie Farrell put up there The Matrix. And The Matrix absolutely is one of the greatest movies ever written. It's so true, yet it's like the hidden truth right in front of us that we all literally are born into that programming. So what was I saying? You're 4, 5, 6 years old. You now have been given your name. You didn't choose your name, you were given your name. Given pretty much your status and your class socially in society. You're either born to white-collar professionals, blue-collar laborers. You could be born to a family that's dirt poor, but you were given that. Your family is either religious, not religious. Your family is either Catholic, Jewish, Baptist, Protestant, whatever. Your family is either racist or not racist. Your family is either conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican. Think of all the different things that we receive without asking for it. Just, it's given to us. You're 6 years old. You go to school. You go to school. You don't need to give yourself labels. The labels have already been given to you. So, now you go to school. You don't have a chance. Society has pretty much already described and defined you. It's almost like you were put into a box. Now, does that mean you can't fight your way out of the box? Absolutely not. There are hundreds of thousands of stories of both silver spoon spoiled crash and burns and dirt poor come from nothing pull themselves up to become successful. There are people that are born into religion that go dark, completely no faith. And people that are born without religion that find themselves deeply spiritual. So it's not that you're stuck, it just means you have a starting point that you're not even aware of. You're literally not starting a race and running evenly. You are slotted, and it's not fair. So why am I starting the video off talking about this? Then people wonder why they're so frustrated, why they're so depressed, why they're so disappointed. And here's what I'm getting at. Chances are, I went through this myself, and I didn't even know it until the last couple of years. The last 3.5 years have been very, very enlightening and transformational for me. The first 45 years, I was clueless. I had no idea. I operated, I was on some levels very successful, on other levels a tragic story, but the point is I didn't even understand the awareness of it. So what happened? Well, I realized at different points in my life, I started to feel it doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like me. And the first one, and I'll preface by saying, I love my dad. Love my dad to death. Gave me the best advice he had, but he wanted me to be a professional. So when I went to high school, he picked my electives. When I went to college, he picked my electives. He picked my major. His thought was, I'm paying for it. You're smart. You're going to get the best education and then go get the best career that you can. So I went into college as a math major. Not because I wanted to. I was good at math, but I didn't want to be a math major. And it wasn't until the end of my sophomore year that I finally was courageous enough to change my major, whether he liked it or not. So my junior year of college, I switched to marketing. And I remember the conversation like it was yesterday. He was like, what are you going to be, a salesman? That was literally the response to dropping from mathematics, which he considered to be an extremely highly intelligent, highly respected major, to marketing, which was frowned upon. Now, again, I'm not mad at him. That was his programming. But I went in and finished up and got a degree in marketing and a minor in math and a minor in psychology and had fun. But I broke out of the box he put me in. Then, when I graduated, he said, you're going to graduate school. Either medical school or law school, pick one, or go get a master's and a PhD. And again, at 22 years old, I wasn't making my own decisions. I was listening to my dad. I loved my dad. I knew my dad loved me. I knew he was giving me the best advice he had. So now, at age 23, I'm going off to law school. And I hated it. Hated it. Not because I'm not smart enough to be an attorney. I hated it. I hated every minute of it. So after the first year of law school, I quit. Imagine how happy he was about that. But what I'm trying to get at was I never felt good. Some of you know me. I'm very respectful but rebellious. If it doesn't feel right, I'm not comfortable sitting in an uncomfortable position. So I drop out of law school and my dad was pissed. And the point I'm trying to make is I fought out of that box that I was put in, that was taped up, and I literally was not given that option or that choice. And again, I'm not trying to say I'm bitter towards my dad. I love him for giving me the best advice he had, but that advice didn't fit me. Now, why am I sharing that with you? I still wasn't aware. I just fought out of those two boxes. I then continued. I was raised Catholic. I don't go to church anymore, and I won't get into religion, but in not going to Catholic church every week and instead finding spirituality and developing a much clearer, healthier relationship with God, I find that I pray every day and meditate every day and feel a closer sense of spirituality than I ever did in 4 years of Catholic high school, 4 years of Catholic university, and going to church every Sunday. Now, I know these are controversial things, and that's why I said I'm not looking for people to get upset. I'm just trying to share that that was how I was raised. Now, my poor mom, who I love her to death, I think she still prays every day thinking I'm going to go to hell because I don't go to church. My ex-wife, my son, they still go to church. My sister, they still go. I'm not judging or criticizing or trying to convince anyone to or not to do anything else. But there were always things about sitting in church and the things that I have been taught my whole life that didn't sit right, didn't resonate. And so I found myself challenging, questioning, and not getting out of the religious experience what I wanted and what I needed. So I found it on my own by becoming more spiritual on my own. Now again, it's just me trying to explain breaking out of a box and a programming that I was given. Now, why am I sharing this? Because I talk to people every day, not some days, every day. I've talked to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds every month for as long as I can remember. And here's what they all do. They judge themselves harshly because of the expectations that their parents and society has put on them, and they don't feel that they're measuring up. Now, it breaks my heart. I didn't even understand it because, to be honest with you, for the majority of the last 23, 24, 25 years, it's been business related. It's been focused on financial. It was people that were trying to find a way out of a job that they couldn't stand and didn't enjoy into home-based business. But here's the crazy thing. It applies in every area of our lives. It's not just business. That was the one I was in because I've been a sales trainer and a business coach and a life coach for 3 decades. But what I would find is that people, much like I did, were told what to do, followed the rules, followed what was going on, and then found themselves very dissatisfied in their jobs. And here's the irony of it, and I talked about this in a past video. If you're writing stuff down, this is a big stat. People who go to college and graduate with a degree, in most cases, roughly less than 15%. It fluctuates between 12, 13, 14, so we'll just say less than 15% actually have a job or a career that's associated with their degree from college. Now I want you to think about that for a second. Working at a job that 8 out of 10 people, almost 9 out of 10, have nothing to do with what they studied in college. That's why so many people are unfulfilled. They're not happy. They're unfulfilled. Many times, they didn't even want to go to college. Let's talk about that for a second. College isn't for everybody. It's not for everybody. It's not good or bad. It's not right or wrong. It's just not for everybody. But our society has created an environment where if you go to high school and you talk to a guidance counselor or you talk to anyone and you say, I really would like to be successful, what should I do? Go to college. Get a college degree. Well, maybe. Maybe at some point in the past that made sense. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But today, you go to college, you take out student loans, you graduate with $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in debt, and you get a job making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year after taxes, you're bringing home $25,000 to $35,000, you never get out of that debt. You now are controlled by that debt forever. So when did it suddenly not be okay to go to high school and say, I don't know that I really want to go to college, and someone says, well, Why don't you go become an apprentice and learn to be an electrician or a plumber or a mechanic? Somehow that's been frowned upon by our society. Like, that's not good enough. Yet, talk to somebody who is an electrician, a plumber, a mechanic, a custom home builder. They make pretty good money. But somehow society has shunned it because it doesn't require a college degree. So I'm just trying to share with you that so many people right now are struggling emotionally. Some, on top of the emotional, they're struggling financially. But let's get away from financial because that's been my career. I want to steer away from that. I want to talk more about getting people to their heart space. So what's the answer? The answer is to stop looking outward and look inward. And that's what some of the posts that I put up today were all about. Look inward. Search inward. Now, I'm not going to sit here and give you all the tired cliches and all that, but what I will say to you is you know what makes you happy. You know. You already know that. If you can find a way to work in some capacity in a field, in a career, in an industry that resonates with what makes you happy, you win. It's not about making money, it's about being at peace and being happy. And so many people, and I'll never use names, but so many people are caught up in pleasing their parents or satisfying some false sense of what society or their spouse or their friends have labeled with them, or they're trying to compare and keep up with other people. You know, again, and this was me. Again, I'm not pointing the finger. I'm the poster child for being programmed and being ultra competitive. And not that I won at all costs as if I would cheat, but I won everything I could because I treated life like a competition. That's how I was programmed. So I've come to realize life's not a competition. I'm not competing with anyone else. I'm not comparing myself to anyone else. I'm not any better or any worse than anyone else. I'm just me. And my goal is to every day wake up and be grateful. I start my day off thanking God for giving me today and hopefully 50 more years worth of good days. But that point is now, okay, what am I going to do with the day? Be happy and do my best to create the best environment for anybody I come into contact with. Meaning, be as happy as you can as long as you're not disturbing, harming, infringing upon the happiness of someone else. Don't harm others or hurt others for your good. That's not healthy. But the bottom line is, if our focus is to just be as happy as we can without harming or hurting or infringing on anybody else, imagine what your life would be like. It doesn't mean don't stay married or don't take care of your kids or don't love your parents. It just means start with you. Because what I have come to learn painfully is that if you're not happy, you're not going to make anyone else happy. You're going to make them miserable. Even if you don't try, unconsciously you will. I have unfortunately found that out the hard way. Because at times in my life I wasn't really happy and there was nothing anyone could do to change that. And at times in my life I dated people that were really unhappy and there was nothing I could do to create happiness for them. So the bottom line is we all have a responsibility to the rest of the world to take care of ourselves and be happy. Now, does that mean be selfish? No, it does not mean be selfish. It means take care of yourself. So, how do we do that? First, we don't let others judge us anymore. They may judge us, don't let it affect you. I'm thinking of a young lady that I had spoken with over the last couple of weeks who is not happy at her job and stayed at that job for over 30 years because it was what her parents wanted her to do. And she loved her parents very much, and she took good care of him. She didn't move far away from home so she could be close to him. And now both of her parents have passed. And she's lost because she doesn't like her job. She hasn't liked her job. And she realized that she wasn't doing it for her. So now, at age, I think, 51, she's lost. And I said, so start over. Like, you're not dead. You're not injured. Start over. And she kept saying, but I don't know what to do. And I said, start from scratch. Move. If you're not happy where you're at, why are you there? And she's like, well, you know, it's the house I said, stop. I said, don't do it for me. Don't do it for your parents. Do it for you. And after about 45 minutes, she realized, my God, I'm not happy in my house. I'm not happy at my job. I don't want to live. I won't even say where she lives. I don't want to live here anymore. I said, then pack up. You owe no one anything. She's not married, no kids. And the irony of it is, she never even thought to give herself permission to do that. That's why I'm doing this video. At 51 years old, she has basically lived her entire life in service to her parents, to her church, to her family or siblings, to her nieces and nephews. Never her. It was a light bulb that didn't go off. It exploded above her head. And now, I'm excited to see where she will end up, because over these next couple of months, she's packing up her house. She's putting it up for sale. She has a career that will allow her to move and get a job. She's in the nursing field in healthcare, so you can go anywhere with that. But that's just going to help her pay the bills while she then pursues her career, which is in the art world. And so it was just so fulfilling to me to see her go through that process in a 45-minute conversation. And like I said, I've had this conversation with so many people for so long, but never to this extent. It was always about business. So my hope is that those of you that are now in somehow that same place that this young lady was, that you'll take full accountability and full authority and full permission to take care of you. And when I say to take care of you, what I mean by that is, what do you want? What will make you happy? Start there. And then build. And there's no rush. There's no time frame. There's no competition. You're not being judged or measured. There's none of that stuff. That's the biggest challenge, is to realize that you don't owe anyone anything. You don't have to fit into anyone else's expectations. If you can figure out what your purpose is, what will make you the happiest, what will actually bring joy into your heart, and then you follow it, everything else will fall into place. Now, I'll share with you. I haven't done movie review calls in a while, but there were 2 movies that I watched this past week just because they're really, really great examples of this. Some of you may have seen them before, and there's a lot more. Some of you have seen them, but if you have them and you have access to them, I encourage you to watch them. The first one, it's going to sound silly, but it was the last Rocky Balboa movie. It was him retired, owning a restaurant. And I won't bore you with it, but the bottom line is, it was just an awesome movie with so many messages about a guy with unfinished business and unfulfilled dreams. And there's a couple of really profound, not Creed, Rocky Balboa. Creed was part of the series, but that wasn't a Rocky movie, that was Creed. This was called, it was called Rocky Balboa or Balboa, I can't remember. But it's the last one when he owns the restaurant and he goes and he fights Mason Dixon in an exhibition championship fight. But I highly recommend it because, like I said, there's just a couple of really powerful scenes when he's trying to get his license to actually box again. And he's just talking about, you know, his dream, his passion. And the other one, Coach Carter, starring Samuel L. Jackson, and true story. But just a really, really awesome movie with powerful messages where a coach chooses to give up a really powerful income because he's an entrepreneur and he makes a lot of money and he's got a great life, and a girlfriend who's really not happy with the decision to give all that up and go be a high school basketball coach in an inner city where he graduated from, with a bunch of kids that have no self-respect and certainly no respect for him. But he chooses it because his purpose is to actually help these young men gain self-respect and become productive parts and pieces of society. So just great movies. And see, those are some things that you can do to help you when you're not feeling it. Just two great movies that have great messages. But the bottom line is, it starts with you. It doesn't have to be a movie. It starts with you. I won't do it here because I know this is getting long. We're 30 minutes in right now. But I will at some point share with you some of the little messages that have made a difference with me. But I'll end by saying this. Find your purpose. You find your purpose by meditating. And I never understood what meditation was, but meditation is to ask for answers and then be still. Be quiet and at peace, which means turn the phone ringer off, turn the computer off, turn the TV off, go out in nature, unplug, and let you feel what your intuition is telling you. You all have an inner compass. You all have an intuition. We all do. But most of us, myself included, don't even know how to listen to it. I went 45 years ignoring it, not paying attention, not even knowing I had it. Now I make a very specific purpose every day to connect and make sure that what I'm doing resonates, which is why for many of you, these videos are about as far opposite from the business trainings that I've done for the past 3 decades. Because right now, I don't feel as much of a purpose to teach you how to make money 3, 4, 5 days a week as I do to teach you that it's okay to say no to other people, to let go of all of the labels and the judgments and the fears of not living up to their expectations or fulfilling what other people think and actually say you should be doing. I feel more led and compelled to say, be you. Trust what feels right for you and give you permission to not care. Because what I've realized with so many of these people I talk to, they don't give themselves permission to be happy because they're so busy trying to make other people happy. So I'm saying to you, you have full permission to be happy, to do whatever will make you happy, provided you're not harming other people. That's where I draw the line. It's not about being selfish and self-serving and hurting others. It's about taking care of you, being the very best you possible, and then sharing this amazing you with everyone else. So with that, I hope this helps. It's hopefully a little bit more positive than the one we did last week, because last week was just, it was such a heavy message after, 4 or 5 weeks of just pain. So many people in pain. So my hope and my prayer for all of you is tremendous peace and comfort in your own hearts. Trust yourself. Love yourself. Don't be critical of yourself. Be the best you can be, but don't judge or criticize yourself harshly. And respectfully and politely no longer care what other people have to say or think. That's the easiest way to say it. Don't care. And that goes for me. Don't care what I think. It's not about anyone but you. And once you really fully embrace that, you will live in a pure joy. That's probably the easiest and best way to say it. And if you're not sure what that looks like, go look at a little 2-year-old. Because at 2 years old, they don't actually understand. They're being programmed, but they don't understand it yet. They're still just kind of enjoying life. And that's honestly what I wish for all of you. So with that, this is John Costino saying be blessed. Thanks for joining us. For those of you that do work with me in home-based business, you got about 20 minutes or so before we start our business webinar. Thanks for being here. Please feel free to share this if it resonates with you. God bless. Good night. Love you all. Bye-bye.